Oh, yes, it's another episode of Escape Arts Voices podcast. And as you know, we are doing these podcasts to celebrate 25 glorious years of Escape Arts' brilliant work and brilliant voluntary and lovely stuff that they do in the community and bringing people together. Like today, in the studio, I have two wonderful smiley faces in front of me. We have Di and Norman. How you doing?
We're fine.
We're
fine.
It's fantastic. Okay, well, I'd like to say, I'd like to know a little bit about you, so I'm going to ask individually your background, starting off with the lady. Di.
Well, I've had various jobs, been in the rag trade, had 3 shops and also been involved in financial work and that. And for the last few years, I've been just doing Norm's books and that for his business and that. But and I'm retired now. Yes.
Yeah. But you see, retired. I've heard about being retired. Is you're more busy.
Oh, true. Yes. I do a lot of arty craft stuff and sewing, knitting, crochet, painting, writing, hooking. Yes, I'm a hooker.
That's not rugby, is it?
This I do basically in America. We don't have hooking groups over here locally.
Okay.
Yeah, rug hooking. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hence why you're probably linked into Escape Arts because of your glorious talents.
No, not necessarily. No. I was dragged along by Norm. Because Norm used to bring his mother, and she died when she was 100, and so I've just sort of tagged along basically over the last few years. So, yeah.
Oh, lovely. So, Norman, well done for tagging Diane
well,
along.
thanks, sorry. Yeah. I think she's underestimating her ability and her support because she's done great things and help and that to the team. The the stitchers, the knitters, the other youngsters, and it's great. But no, Di is brilliant at what she does, artistic, very, very good indeed.
And how about yourself, Norman? So why? So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
I'm over 25.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yes.
You don't look it.
I was born 41, and obviously Mum and Dad was brought up in Tyso. Quite strict Methodist, and then she came to Stratford with a biker suitcase and 2 and 6pence, and she gave him the £5 to clear the grocery bill at the farm and the shop in Tyso. But I was born in Broad Street, grew up in Broad Street, went to school in Broad Street.
Right.
And so therefore terrific on that one. So very, very local. Yeah. Then I had the choice to either go to Shire Hall or to Lockheed, and I took up engineering at Lockheed. And so therefore that I did engineering apprenticeship and went through all the departments. And then we started to buy companies over in West Bromwich and Birmingham. So I ran 2 of those for a while. And then I went into private industry, got fed up for a while, And then in around about 1983, 84, I started my own business. And that was in consultancy, management, and also marketing. And then bought other companies. And Di's been great help on that one, And it's been terrific. It's worked out very, very successfully. And then from there, I think around about 1982, we met people skiing. Skiing was my number one love. And unfortunately, since I've had a bit of an ailment and I'm bionic in the legs, I'm not allowed to ski anymore. But
so there's good après skiing there.
We met American friends in St Anton 1980, and that built up a great relationship. And so we've been to America around about 80 times.
Wow.
Over the 40 years. And then we were persuaded when they moved to Florida. He'd probably got the biggest collection of World Fair memorabilia, Crystal Palace and all the others. So, 1939 was his forte. But on there, then he pushed us to, well, why don't you build a house? So in 1989 we did. but we
99.
99. But during that period before, we'd always lived together. We'd played cards together.
Yeah.
We'd travelled around in RVs. We'd even had our honeymoon in an RV with 4 of us. So that was
cosy.
That did start a close relationship. From there leading on, as you say, we got involved by Escape and Karen and that. My mum was at the Bentley. She didn't like that. She lived in Broad Street, wanted to stay in Broad Street.
Yeah.
And so therefore that I started bringing her out 2 or 3 times a week in the wheelchair. And I think I was there every day. Di would tell you, I probably went there every day.
Really?
She did make 100. She was really pleased she made 100.
Oh, yes. Did she get a letter from the Queen?
We had
yes.
a letter, we had a card, we did all the photography,
Wow.
and absolutely terrific. Then I think, it's a bit like life. You have milestones or you switch off.
Yes.
She switched off.
Yeah.
Lasted a few weeks, and I've done it. I've arrived.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
But
bless her.
again, she was a great sort of supporter of the town, and this is why Town Hall that we've always got involved with, British Legion and Poppy Day always supported those, and the theatre. So everything which was going on for, as I remember, 20 odd years, we did everything. We went to every dinner and dance. We went to everything. She, a long time ago, she worked for Ford and Flower. The Lee family actually ran Kendall's, which was materials and chemicals for Flowers Brewery. And later on then, Mum was at William and Mary, the very nice hotel which was opposite Horsecroft. And that was, my dad was supposed to look after me, but he'd probably spent his time in the Talbot, the Bull and other places of liquid refreshment. And I used to get up, get dressed about, and I was about 8 at the time, walk from Chestnut Walk all the way down to William and Mary for my tomato soup. Later on, my mum was great. Very, very highly respected. We were on all the lists of everything at the town hall. Then from Escape, where VIP started, and she loved that because when it first started, that VIPs and everything else had a good selection, which is a bit like management of the town.
Yes.
They were always managers of Timothy White's. They were managers from Henson's the Butchers, which you've probably recently covered with in that show. And therefore, that if you went round the table, they were all associated with companies that in the town. That helped to build up a very, very close relationship, especially because the Sheep Street was built on Henson's slaughterhouse and slaughter-yard. And so therefore there was a close association. And I must admit, I have admired the work that Niamh and Karen have done over the years with the old pictures of Stratford, old and new and everything else. And they've achieved that one. You may ask questions a bit later on the things of that side. But from the mum's side, we inherited. Di has been very, very supportive. We've tried to help on other sort of financial and things like that with the minibus, and we didn't want to have pictures on the back of a bus, but we didn't mind our name. So therefore,
And are you allowed to drive it though?
No.
I suppose I am, but I've never volunteered.
No.
I grew up on vans because of the haulage business, and each night when I got home from apprenticeship and engineering, I was always told there's a load of furniture on the van. Could we just deliver that, or piano or whatever, and then we can come back for dinner? So I had to earn my keep.
Yes.
And my dad passed away very early, so therefore Mum and I ran the business, and that was pretty successful, and she did very well, and worked very hard.
I think it's just wonderful that your involvement in Escape and the VIP, like you say, is just sounds. I can't wait to retire. I can't wait to be a VIP. I've got ages.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change a thing, because I know Escape Arts is 25 years now, but we're going to have more, aren't we?
We are. And you can always come as a guest.
Yes.
Can I be your guest?
Yeah.
Because I heard there's delicious cake. It was,
We're a good supplier of that, because we always think, right, are we at Costco or where are we, and can we, take a cake in just to celebrate, or whose birthday is it?
Dyke, have you got any specific memories of a project or something that you were involved in Escape Arts?
No, only on the knitting side, basically, and yes, occasionally. Well, yesterday, trying to teach people how to crochet. So, but I crochet slightly different to most people, and but I haven't actually worked on a project, but I've just sort of helped out, being there on a Thursday morning, having a cuppa and sort of chivying them on, encouraging people. Yeah, that's basically what I do, rather than.
Was anyone successful?
Yes. We had a new lady who started yesterday. So yes, so I think she might get to work there. I noticed there's a young lad who's learned to crochet and that, so.
It's for all, isn't it?
It is for all. Yes. But I've done so many projects myself, and not ended up by wearing them or anything. So, I'm just starting giving everything away. Clearing out stuff and that, So.
I'm sure they will be grabbed up quickly, because I've seen some of your wonderful, clothes already.
Yeah.
It just looks amazing.
I like to do things. I like to have something to, but not necessarily thinking, oh yes, well that'll come in handy to wear for some times, and so it's just filling the time up, So, no, I haven't been working on anything just recently. So
no, it's great.
Yeah.
And Norman, do you get involved in lots of projects too, or in the past?
No, we seem to support it. If I'm really so pleased that Niamh and Karen have been so active with what they're promoting, and therefore that if it's in Wood Street with the throne and all the Queen and everything, is celebrations, and then if they're over on the recreation ground. And this was a good thing, because they always need a van or a whatever to take all the stuff, because they're always loaded, and it's been terrific. But I'm very impressed with the area they cover, because Nuneaton and the men's workshops and things like that, and that is fantastic, I think. And when you think of it, the one they had last week in the garden. When you look around and you see the special needs and the, people who need assistance, and they may have a family life, they may be limited on the family life. I've only got one sister. Di's got 4 brothers, and my sister has a son, and he's always suffered. So therefore, he's never worked, and it means that brings it home to you, where they need. I would say it's friendship. They need company. They need to get out of 4 walls.
Yes.
And that really happens. And if it's once a week or whatever, and a bit like us on the VIPs, which date are we talking about this month? It's so nice to think, right, we got a target.
Yes.
And when you think of it, like the people which were, more in the original team, now we're actually getting new faces. It's being, passed on to other people, mostly, 80 or in age group, but they look forward to it, and a lot of knowledge, if you like, of Stratford. I get involved now from the Herald, because I don't know if I'm not the oldest in Stratford, but I think I've done 81 years living in the town, so there's not many people we don't know, and if we don't know them, they know us, so we have to be a bit careful. But
yes, I know. I remember, and I'm a lot younger than you, but I do remember that when I was a teenager or starting out in the pubs,
yes,
they would always know that you'd been in that pub and knew exactly what time you came home. How do they know? Other people in Stratford. It's just because it is a town, isn't it?
Well,
and that's the
amount of packets of crisps and Vimtos I've had, and on mock day one week, my dad went out with the van. He took the dog. We always had the dogs that I inherited were where he'd been to a house. The lady says, "I don't want this dog anymore," and it was usually 2 and 6 months to take it to the vet. So therefore, my dad had the 2 and 6 months, and I had the dog. But he went to the Old Red Lion when it was a bus stop, and he went and took the dog down there in the morning. And Mum said at about 5-6 o'clock at night, "Where's the dog?" And I said, "Oh, he went out with Dad, and I thought, hang on. We had to go down to the King's, the Red Lion, and there the dog was sat on the doorstep and been there for about 10 hours. But
oh gosh,
life was interesting when
very different.
Dad was a good. Mum was the active provider and the support long term, and my dad ran Ulster Fire Service, and they had a few eventful ones where they were in Coventry Blitz and Bristol Blitz, and that was fine until the factory and the walls fell down on top of the fire engine, and they almost lost their jobs then. So that was it.
Wow, you've got so many stories, and I'm sure that those VIP meetings, you just collectively, all of you, just bring them alive again. It's fantastic, and coming here today is fantastic as well in the studio. And just one last little thing. The future of escape arts. Di, just what can you see and visualise in the next 25 years?
It'll just going to get bigger and better and reach out to more and more people. But it needs funding.
Yeah. Norman?
That's exactly right. The recognition of it, because now there's more and more charities, more and more people asking for money. And you've got the county, you've got the town, you've got everybody else, and lottery, they all have money. And therefore now it's probably spread too thinly or not always in escape arts direction. And when you think of it, the commitment now from the team, and therefore they do great on that side with like apprentices, with again skills, more and more special needs children. So therefore it does need more money actually, donated. And really it's a hungry, and so appealing. They must wake up and they must recognise, and really they do such a good job. And hopefully the photograph in the Herald this coming week will start pushing it again. And that garden party was very, very successful. And people not even know it existed or didn't even know of the garden. And so therefore, hopefully, the town council, and I think they've got good councillors, good active councillors, which is Jenny and Kate and the others, which probably are the best councillors we have on the town.
Well,
I can't be a councillor, and I can't do anything else. And, been requested many times, and we don't live in the borough.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. More input in financial and volunteers and everybody to help Escape on its way to the future, which will be fantastic.
Appreciate it, Corey.
Let's go and eat some cake.
Oh, I'm up for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we should do that again. Hello? Are you there?
I'm here. I'm trouble already, isn't it?
Are we getting to a bloopers episode, Tori?
Yeah, that's why I've just done that.
That didn't catch me.
I've got your do from last week. Anyway, right. So I'm going to start, and then we'll take it from there.
Fine.